Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Bleachers with Coach Jay. Today we have the ORWALL President with us, Miss Morgan. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. It's kind of exciting. Episode 3.
So anybody, if you're upset about me doing this, you can blame her. It was her idea.
It was my idea.
It was her idea.
It was kind of, I threw it out there, and Jay was like, I can do that. And
I wanted to do that. It's a bigger thing.
I never knew I'd actually be sitting here doing this, though. But here we are.
Right. It's at least once. And we'll find out some things about you, and then you never have to do it again.
Okay.
And then we'll just reference you forever.
Sounds like a plan.
There you go. But at least now everybody is like, this is Morgan. Okay, so I guess we'll just jump into it. Some of the things, we have some questions and everything, and one of them is what was your why? Why did you join the board in the first place?
Well, my parents moved to the Woodlands when I was 5, so I very much grew up here. And ORWALL has been here, since 1970.
Right.
So I had friends in high school that played out here. The baseball, scene then was a little different than it is now.
Right.
So, my son started playing, and I had decided, I wanted to give back my time in some way. And I was actually between joining the ORWALL board and joining the Junior League. Junior League, it's like a not-for-profit in our area. Okay. It's mostly like a women group kind of thing. Okay. And honestly, that was kind of more where I was leading to do that, just because I was like, yeah, I have a son that's playing baseball, but I was not a sports, so I was like, I don't know what I can really contribute, to ORWALL, right?
I hear you.
And so, they sent out the email. I'm sure plenty of people have got the email like, hey, are you interested in joining the board? And to me, it very much seemed like an informational kind of meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I just was like, well, let me go hear what they have to say. And I showed up, and Chris Susi, actually, that was when he became president. And he was like, well, we don't have enough people here to fill all positions. So everyone here, welcome to the board. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that decision was just made. This is what we're doing.
Right.
And that was 4 years ago. And here I am, still here. Yeah.
Okay. That was kind of why I joined the board, was Susie, because I didn't agree with something. So I was like, I was saying something to Matt, and Matt goes, well, then you should join the board. So I was okay.
And I think we do, over the years, I've seen a lot of that. Honestly, I think that go round of the board, I was the only person in the room at that time that didn't know anybody.
Oh, really?
So we do get a lot of, oh, I'm here because so-and-so said join the board, or this happened, so I want to get on the board to make this better. And And so for me, it was at first very much like a...
Yeah. It's like you walk in the door, and I forgot exactly what was wrong or what had happened, but I had an opinion, and I was going to give it, and then I saw how everything worked, and I went, oh, okay. So there's a reason
there's
for
a lot.
everything.
There's a lot I feel like people don't fully understand.
Right.
And it's a very unique organization because, we all, are volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, no one's getting paid.
Right.
Nobody. And so, it's kind of whatever the board chooses to put in is what comes back out and what makes the place go.
Right. Doing equipment and seeing most of the volunteer coaches who have come in, that's one of the big things that, they're really big on. Hey, thank you, appreciate it. Because they know that we're, that's our time.
Yeah.
I could be at home watching TV or, hanging out with my kids or something, but, we're checking in equipment or trying to figure something out, or we're voting on something or bringing something up. So it's like a passion thing every time. Yeah. And a lot of people, if you want to join the board, just come to a board meeting. Send an email. We'll tell you when the next board meeting is. We'll vote on you. They voted on me. They didn't vote on her. They just let her know. So.
That's not true. There was a vote.
Okay. When did you start? But I guess that kind of goes into the last piece. How old is your son now?
He is 8, but he's league age 9.
League age 9. Okay, and he's been playing since T-ball?
K-ball.
K-ball. Mm-hmm. So you've been out there for a while, herding cats and everything else.
Yes.
Okay, so it's been a minute. Okay, I get that. So when you first started, what did you do?
I was a scheduler. I was a scheduler for 2 years, and that's a job that nobody wants.
Nobody. Yeah.
And so actually, when I walked to that informational meeting, I sat down to somebody who we started talking, and then another person walked in, and these were probably the 2 largest guys on the board at the time, and I'm sitting between them feeling I'm like, oh my God, this is And so the person who was sitting on my right said, well, I'm going to nominate you to be the scheduler. Because that's kind of how it works. You know, we all get voted onto the board, and then you can nominate yourself for a position, or someone else can nominate you. Because I was really like, hey, you know, I'll do whatever. Like, I'm just here to help wherever you need me.
Right.
And so he's like, oh, I'm going to nominate you to be the scheduler. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. And that was kind of lower down on the list of positions. And clearly nobody wanted it. Chris, who had became the president, was a scheduler before.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a scheduler. And so
explains a lot.
And so I just, everyone was like, okay, you can have it. And
there's a joke in the board that's the one that comes with the specs license. You get, you know, whatever you want from specs, and it's on the board. But, like, did you know how in depth it was going to be?
No, I had absolutely no clue. And he, you know, Chris was like, "Oh, I'll help you." And there was another person who had done the scheduling before that, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sure he'll help you out," and you know, whatever. And you know, it's not just the game schedule. We have, you know, the board duty schedule. So to put that together. We have the practice schedule to put that together.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's and I literally had, you know, like I said, I'd been out there when I was a kid, but never. I mean, my son had played, I think, K-ball and T-ball. I think I joined the board when he was starting CP6.
Okay.
So I'm like, I had no idea. Like, I literally had no idea how many games were played, how many, you know. And so Chris called me. We talked on the phone for maybe like an hour and a half. He kind of gave me an overview.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to take a stab at this. Okay. And there's a system in our software, but honestly, our league is too big to actually utilize it.
That's what I was about to ask you that. So did you have to put it together line by line?
Yeah, so it's 100% manual.
So you just go Excel sheet? And
that's how I did it, because I work in Excel a lot. And I was like, okay, well, this is trash. This system, it does not work.
Okay.
I don't really know how Chris did it. Chris kind of gave me the layout of like, well, here's, you know, how many games there needs to be. Here's how long, you know, because each division, it's different. Certain divisions play on certain fields. So I'm like taking all these notes. I'm like, okay. And then I was like, okay, well, let me work on this for like a week, and I'll send you something. Okay. And so I kind of just started, you know, he sent me like a PDF with some notes about how you use the system if you were going to use it. I'm like, there's no way this is going to work. Like, it's, I mean, we have in the spring 105 teams. Yeah. So if you know, multiply that by 12 games, divide by 2, that's how many games we play in just the regular season.
Okay, well, now I'm infatuated with scheduling. I don't ever want to do it.
And so I mean, yeah, so people complain. Yes, sometimes there's mistakes, but it's 100% manual.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't know exactly how Gordon does it, but I sent him, you know,
I'm convinced he does it with AI.
I think he does what I basically did, because I sent him my templates, and he was basically like the same. He was like, yeah, there's no way in the Sports Connect you could build this. Right, right. So it's built manually and then entered in manually in there. So, yeah. So, again, I know no schedule's perfect. There are some mistakes that happen.
I don't think a lot of people understand, like what you just said, because I'll be honest with you, I thought y'all had a program. And Matt and I even joked about Gordon having AI, like I said a little while ago. And I had said something to Gordon at one of the meetings. Gordon's like, I wish that AI worked. He goes, if I could figure out how to do it with AI, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Because it seems like that's one of the helpful things that probably we could like use that technology.
Yeah, maybe it's getting, you know, things are getting more advanced with AI. It might be possible.
Kind of help us a little bit.
But there's a lot of, just with that Sports Connect software in general, we're required to use it by Little League, but it's really, I mean, most Little Leagues are not our size.
Oh, 100%. So, 100%. Because you said that we're the largest?
I've heard, I've tried to find out. I don't know if we're the largest. Someone who had been on the board before told me we were like in the top 5 in the United States.
Top 5 in the United States. I mean, that's believable.
I mean, we're definitely, I've had one conversation with somebody who like works for Little League International. And when I told him how many players we have, he was like, that's a lot. And I'm like, well, don't you work for Little League? Aren't you monitoring this data? But, you know, hey.
I know, right? Like, you would think they'd be like, hey, you are the largest.
Yeah, no, but we're definitely, I mean, we're up there.
So just to kind of expand on that, like, you've done all this, you put all the data entry in, you're doing it all by hand, you're doing it all yourself, you're building it all out yourself. 2 weeks in, third game, we have a rain out. And is that like hell just hit me in the head, or is it?
It's not. If it happens in the regular season, it's not as bad because oftentimes you can just take that game and move it to the end of the season. Like if you count it out in the spring when our season should end, it should end like the middle of April, regular season.
Right.
It usually, we're starting playoffs like that around May, the first couple of days of May.
Yeah.
So you have a little
usually
bit
a rush to get all-star
more,
kids.
Exactly. Yeah. And so if you rain out an entire Saturday, we kind of have a Saturday built in the end. You just move the whole Saturday. Okay. Sometimes we have a little bit of flexibility if it was already a late game to kind of move it to another late game spot. But then we do get up to this crunch of when, hey, we have to start end of season. We have to start all-stars. Sorry, but your nice 6 o'clock Friday night games now Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And people get upset, and it's understandable, but it's a lot of games.
Right. But that's why we run into 8 o'clock games. Yeah. I mean, it's not like we set out from the beginning. I think every team has a number of games they have.
Try to make it balanced. Right. So it's not one team has 5 games at 8 p.m. But, usually like for majors, we try to do 2. For the younger kids, usually at 1. Hopefully, like T-ball and below, there's none if possible.
Right. Yeah, it's the one thing. We're always turning those lights off pretty early. So it's
So, but to your point about, does all hell break loose in the end of season? Yes, because you can't just move that game that you rained out to the end because they're all, in a row. So then your schedule that you put together, your double elimination bracket, now you have to reschedule every game after that.
Right. Yeah, and wasn't it last spring when it just decided to rain all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for people that wonder and get upset, which I understand, like you hear it here, it's, they're doing everything as quick as they can, as best as they can by hand. There's no software that's running it through for us. And sometimes it's helpful because you really need some grace sometimes. Yeah. So, okay. Well, my next question is, what made you want to be president? Why did you kind of walk in? Were you, I remember right when you went for it, like talking with Matt, and Matt was talking about how important the position was and that he might try and step in for it. And I had asked about Joe, and they're like, no, Joe never. But I just, I know you have you have a corporate background.
Yeah, I'm an accountant.
So that, kind of helps with, analytical mind, things like that. A lot of problems come to you. You can kind of figure out what's important, what's not. But what made you kind of drive to want to be president?
Well, yeah, I knew I was going to stay on the board. Honestly, I ended up liking the scheduling position. It was kind of something I do. I have a full-time job. I have, more than one child. So sometimes that's the scheduling role is something you can do at night, in my quote unquote free time. The president role is a little different. Some things need to be handled immediately. And, so we knew Chris his son had aged out. So we knew he was at the end. And so we kind of started having conversations amongst the board, like who's going to take on that role. And the idea was floated to me like, hey, we think you'd be a good fit. You don't see everything as a scheduler, but you kind of start to see more parts of things. Each role on the board's unique.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm the right person for that.
Right.
Also, I think of baseball to some degree, and don't take this the wrong way, is a male sport. A lot of our coaches are male, and I'm like, who am I, to be in charge? Honestly, that's just the way I felt.
I understand.
I was very much, I was like, I think it needs to go to a guy. That's how I feel, Okay. And so both Joe and Chris were like, yeah, but you'd be good at this, you'd be good at that, and there are some other people, Matt, there was other people that wanted it, and I'm like, if they really want it, and they're like, oh, this person's good in this role, and this person's good in this role, and while the scheduling role is not as easy to just replace, they were like, we can find somebody for that.
Right.
But like, really needs to be somebody that is going to do right by, you know? And I don't think we have any board members that are there for the wrong reason. I know that's happened in the past.
Yeah, I believe you with now. There's,
Yeah, no. So this board that we have right now, I think is really, really fantastic.
Right. I agree with that.
And so, anyway, I just finally said, okay, if I get voted in, had a conversation with someone who's a good friend that also wanted it, and they were very supportive. And
that's good.
And so I was like, okay, well, if this is, I very much believe everything happens for a reason. And
100%.
And so I finally said, okay. And we hadn't had the board meeting yet. And here comes Hurricane Beryl.
Yeah.
So that was a fun time.
Because we did when you were voted in, was at the church.
It was at the Woodlands Methodist Church. So again, not that I had it. There still had to be a vote. Other people, were nominated. Other people, they ended up turning down those nominations. But Chris and I was talking. He's like, well, what are we going to do? Because the county's like, we can't go in. And we had the meeting scheduled and, our board meeting. And someone had the idea of the church. We have a board member that works at the church. And so, some coaches that also work for the church. And Chris and I are both members of the church. I said, what about the church?
Oh, okay.
And he said, yeah, I bet we can make that happen. So he was able to make that happen. And then, I kind of walked into, I don't know if we're going to play baseball this fall.
Right.
And that was a fun time. So, but we made it and had a lot of political conversations, a lot of, I was like, okay, is this going to be what this is like? Because this is not what I expected at all.
Right. And that's kind of another thing that a lot of people don't really understand. It's getting us on the field for that season.
Oh, yeah. I can't tell you the hours I spent on the phone, the hours of, like, honestly, sleepless nights. I was like, what am I going to do? Like, yes, you brought up, like, I have a corporate background, and I've had plenty of difficult conversations with clients and all this, but I'm like, I don't know. This feels different a little bit for me. Like I said, because yes, I'm the president of the board, and there's a bunch of board members that are underneath me. But I mean, we're all volunteer. Like, the board doesn't answer to. I mean, in a sense, I mean, I can't. If someone doesn't show up for their board duty, I mean, I can't. All I can be is be upset.
Somebody.
I can't fire. Right. Like, and so for me, that's kind of a hard thing.
Yeah. Well, I get it. Because what a lot of people don't know is you actually had to go to some the Woodlands board meetings and things like that or the commissioner's court or.
I was about to go to the commissioner's court, but actually, there was just some things and some people in the county that helped us, eventually get back in. But there was just not a timeline. There was not, and at some point I was like, okay, well, if we're going to play, we have to order uniforms. Right. And if we're going to order uniforms, that's a huge expense. And if I order these and we end up not playing, we can't refund people.
Right.
And so then I'm like, okay, do we just cancel it? But then I'm like, all these kids that, want to play baseball, and then we're not going to be able to play, and that's when I kind of think I sent out like an email saying, hey, we don't know what's going to happen. We're still trying. Mm-hmm. But if, hey, your kid wants to go play soccer and right now you can go sign up and play soccer, go do it, because we don't know. Right. And I just want to be as transparent as possible.
Because a lot of people don't understand is, like, as soon as we get paid, we have to start paying for everything else. Mm-hmm. Like you said, uniforms, and we have to order balls. Mm-hmm. We have to make sure that all the equipment that we have is good and can go out to the kids. We may have to order more. We have to pay the umpiring crew. We have to make sure concessions is set up and all the other things just to run the place and have the yard crew in place. Yep. And we have to pay all those people. Yep. Because there's a lot of people that will go, well, why didn't they just give us a refund? And it's like, I understand where you're coming from, but it's like we've already paid for all of these things and we can't get a refund on any of it. It's like we bought it. It's so, and you may want to cut this. I don't know if she wants to answer, but when you get to that point, is that kind of why it's like so hard to just turn around and go, okay, here's your money back and we need to make a decision now and never?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't want to take somebody's money.
Right.
If we're not going to have a season.
Right.
But also, there's backwards planning.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can't say, Monday, okay, we're playing.
Right.
But we haven't, uniforms are like usually a 4-week lead time.
Right.
And when I order them, I have to pay for them.
Right.
And it's not, that's the whole point of a not-for-profit. We're not sitting on, we take the money for the season and we spend that money for the season. So if I spend it and we cancel, I can't, I could give you something back probably, but I can't give you everything back.
Can't give you everything back. Yeah.
So,
I hear you. What do you feel has been the hardest part of being president?
Honestly, I'm a people pleaser by nature.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people, a lot of personalities, and you can't make everyone happy.
Mm-hmm. I
feel like every decision that we make is 50% of the people are happy and 50% of the people are mad about it. And the next one, it's, same thing, but vice versa.
Right.
And so that's, because, again, these are kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kid's game.
Right.
It's for fun. And
it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be for fun. And so I think it's hard. Like, I don't, and sometimes people are like, well, this decision just seems so easy. But I'm like, it's not. And yes, that may be the more fun decision for the kids, like everyone wants to have their assistant coach luck, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, but the rules don't allow for that.
Right.
Or, and we have to enforce those rules.
Right.
Because we are responsible to Little League.
Yes.
But I'm like, yes, 100%. As the mom in me, or kids that play other
with
sports where those things are allowed, I'm like, yes, it's fun, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know. I have my mom friend group. My son has his friend group. And it's just comfortable. It's fun, right? Because they're 8. We're not going to play like some pro sport tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
And so the mom in me wants to be like, yes, sure, have your friends. But then I have to put like that president role on and be like, no, well, unfortunately, we can't do that, And I'm sorry that your son has to play with somebody else, or that coach wasn't able to draft him, but that's Little League.
Yeah, yes, I've walked into some drafts going, what are we doing? Yeah, okay, and then somebody comes in behind us going, no, we're not doing any of that because we're not allowed to. It's like, okay, so I get it. One thing that, when I talk to Joe is, you guys get some pretty late phone calls.
Oh, yes. Yes.
On average, during the season on a game night, how long are you on the phone? It kind of, some days it can be nothing. Other days, I was at an actual birthday party. It was in this particular, again, it was last spring because of the rain. Okay.
And so we had chosen to schedule a majors game, a doubleheader for the bracket. Okay. So first game impacted who played for the second game.
Right.
And there was a protest in the first game that had to be decided right then because the umpires are literally holding the clock for the second game to know which team from that protest is going to play in the next one.
Right.
An hour and a half later, we make the decision on the protest.
Right.
But so that's like a case where, no, I can't do that tonight. I can't do that. It has to be done right now.
Right. It's a lot of
I have to get everyone, a lot of moving parts, get everyone on the protest committee on the phone, get the information from the coaches. So that's, sometimes last night, I don't know, 8:30, I get a text from the landscaping people.
Last night?
Last night. Main water main busted.
Nuh-uh.
Yep. So you just never know. It's literally you never know.
Right. No,
and we're in the off season, right?
Yeah, that's why I was
it's
surprised when you said last night. I was like, what do you mean?
Water main busted. I'm like, okay. Well, luckily, they handle it, but still.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, let me let Matt know. Let me let Joe know. So there's, a phone call.
Right.
Yes, it's an issue. The water main busted, but, there's a 10, 15-minute phone call. I mean, Joe and I, even right now, probably during the season, Joe and I talk at least every day, at least one time.
Right.
On the phone.
Yeah, I can imagine that because I talk to him at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah. So every day at least once. Sometimes it's several times. Sometimes.
Right. Yeah, because he's told me sometimes where you guys were talking till like 1 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's happened
trying to figure some stuff out, and it's like how many of these things though would just be taken care of if 2 coaches could just calm down and talk to each other.
A lot of them. A lot of them. It's crazy to me to think. Every season we usually have to call the cops 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Every season.
Yeah. That's
over most of the time 2 adult men being children.
Yeah. No, it's okay to say.
It's on it like.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, but unfortunately, you have to do it.
Right.
You have to,
So how would you say, like a big part of just from the coaching aspect or, dealing with, your son's coach or some of the coaches you've dealt with, I have always been a big advocate. You've heard me say it in the boardroom. Like, if we're trying to win the trophy or the ring, we're not out there for the right reasons. So, kind of give me like your perspective on that.
Oh, I think that's 100% an accurate statement. This is Little League baseball.
Right.
These kids are kids.
Yeah.
Most of them, whatever their league age is, they're actually a year younger than that. Oftentimes.
Yeah. People don't understand that.
So,
yeah.
You're like, my son, the way his birthday falls, oftentimes for the fall season, because the way the tryouts fall, he's 2 years younger number-wise than the division he's going to try out for.
Right.
Because his birthday usually falls in that weekend. So if, and so I'm like, these are kids. Like, it's not. And again, we have some extremely talented kids there that I'm sure will go on and do amazing things. But that's the top 1%.
Right.
We have a ton of that are just out there to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're not out there to make sure they have fun and learn as much as they can, right, and be positive and understanding, then we're pushing kids out.
Yes.
Because if you're trying to win constantly and you're shoving a kid in right field, that kid's going to be like, I don't want to play right field. Even though you may not be as good as, one of the other kids, our job is to give you the opportunity to show yourself or show us what you can do somewhere else. I'm not going to get you hurt, right?
Right.
But I'm going to give you an opportunity to have fun. And I think it's not a lot because we have some really good coaches out there too. But, it happens every now and then.
And I think to the point that you asked me earlier, what's like the hardest thing? I think that's another hard thing. So in this role, I get to see the 10% of the bad. And 10% of the bad all the time.
Right.
And I think that has also, it's made me very jaded, honestly, towards the place.
Honestly,
it's like refreshing. Like we just did Coach of the Season.
Yeah.
So getting to read through all of those. Kind of
There's
like
some great emails.
Sparks my love for the place. Because I'm like, okay, there's, we have usually over 100 teams. There's like 10 coaches that I'm dealing with. There's some out there, they're out there, they're doing their thing, they're living the best life with the kids.
Yeah.
And so you have to, I just get so stuck in the bad.
Right. I guess the best thing is that you don't know some of them's names.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because if you know their name.
Yes. And most of,
having a lot of conversations.
The person who won Coach of the Season.
Yeah.
I did. I had like 2 email exchanges with him because he was a coach who stepped up for a team that didn't have a coach.
Oh,
so
really?
there was
Okay.
So there was exchanges about that.
See, that makes it even better.
But I'm like, who is this person? But his recommendations were all the recommendations. I think we had like 150 and 58 coaches were nominated, and honestly, they were all like fantastic things.
Yeah, those comments
really,
were awesome.
really good.
Yeah. So I'm a little disappointed. I'm kidding. I didn't bring it up to my team because I couldn't win anyway. But that's awesome. Reading some of the comments, you were like, I was thinking like, these are the people that are really impacting these kids and making it fun for them. And I'm glad that you brought that, to the, where we're doing that.
Oh, that was Andrea's idea. It was all her.
Okay.
It was all her.
All right. Well, there you go, Andrea. Shout out to you. That was a good idea. Andrea is always positive, so I need to get her on here too.
Yeah.
And that would be fun. Just have her argue with me for an hour.
So, but I mean, again, just reading through them and everything, it just really, I'm like, okay, like us as a board, me as a person, we're doing something right by this organization.
Right. Oh,
like
100%.
we are, and so it's nice to see that and help remember that exists.
Right. Because it's not, I mean, when we vote on coaches, we know a lot of them, and a lot of it we're going off of the division directors who've worked with them before. And or they've been there a long time, right? And we're making the right decision on, and like she said, 99% of the time we're spot on. We have one or two that we may have to, and even then she's getting a lot of this information. There's nothing too egregious where we're getting rid of people.
Yeah, no, I mean, really, it's not.
And if people are arguing or coming to, where they're, there's no physical fights that I can remember. There may be one or two pushes, but. For the most part, we have really good parents, and they care enough to give us their opinion, which is also a good thing, right? I don't get mad about it. But, I mean, sometimes you probably get some emails that you wish were probably worded a little better. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, I understand, right? And I feel like sometimes they're written in the heat of the moment.
Right.
Which, again, I understand, and kind of going back to, I think a lot of people don't understand, like, how ORWALL works and that.
Right.
And not for a bad reason or anything. You think, oh, I'm paying for my kid to play here. Everything should be perfect, and it should. Right. But again, nothing is perfect.
Right.
And honestly, I really truly believe that everyone's doing the best that they can.
I believe the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, I got a call one day about a call, and I made the wrong decision. You're thinking on the fly. Every division's, rules are a little bit differently. The board member on duty called me and I said, do this. And he was like, okay, well, I need to talk to the umpire. I thought he was going to call me back. He didn't call me back. So I assumed everything was just fine. Then I started looking through. I was like, oops, my bad. But I never heard anything back. So I assumed everyone was just good. Then the emails come and I'm like, I'm sorry,
Right. That's where you just have a little humility.
And, yeah. I was like, I messed up.
Yeah. We're human.
And, next time I'll know. And yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk on the capital campaign that, you've brought to us in the last few months?
Yes.
Some things you'd like to do with that.
So you can hear it first now here. There'll be some emails coming out, but the board voted in our last meeting to launch an official capital campaign. So we're still kind of fine-tuning the details about, I think it's going to be a multi-year kind of thing and kind of some tranches on which project we want to put in which phase. But in total, we're going to try to raise $660,000. That's what the board voted for about 6 or 7 different things. And the leveling of some fields. I know the senior field and major field is really particularly bad. We have some dugouts that are basically almost completely sunken in.
Right. Don't drain well, anything like that.
There's some issues at the park, that are just not fixable.
Right. That's true.
But I think there are a lot of things, I don't want to say have been neglected for a long time. It's just, again, trying to manage the budget, trying to manage, for several years. It's like, well, we can do the cheap option, the Band-Aid.
Right.
We can only do that so many times.
Right.
And so we're kind of at a point now where there are some things that need some significant renovations. The north side concession building.
Well, a lot of the things that you were talking about, like that we're going to be trying to take on, we haven't had the money for it.
Right.
Like, doing the north concessions that's going to be pretty pricey. And then we've never had the money for that.
Yeah. And so I think, kind of the way, so when I came on, even though I was scheduler, I kind of was like, hey, I'm an accountant, we kind of go around the room, say what we do. And after getting to know me a little bit, Chris was like, hey, I don't think we've raised the registration fee here in like 10 years. And I'm like, well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, again, not that we're not for profit. We don't need to be making a profit or doing all these things. But I'm like, just general inflation. And at that time, inflation was becoming even more significant. I'm like, he's like, if I give you, you know, some of our financial data, can you tell me how much it actually costs a player to play here?
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, that's not quite my area, but I'm like, I can, you know, poke around and see what I can come up with.
Okay.
And so, you know, I came up with a number and I'm like, well, what you're charging for registration doesn't even cover what I kind of consider the operating cost. So that's uniforms, umpires, lights, landscaping, the ball, you know, those kind of things. And so I'm like, so that money that, you know, we get the $500 sponsorship in the spring that's supposed to be, you know, for like capital purposes.
Right.
ORWALL was using that money to fund just the general operating. So then that's where you get, well, none of this money is there for these capital improvements that need to happen. And so, you know, I was like, well, I think we need to make registration this. So people probably remember there was, you know, I think it was almost $100 increase.
It was, yes.
It was, you know, and so again, we went up a little bit because again, the cost of everything just keeps rising, but it's been like $5, $10, you know, nothing that drastic. So that we were able to take the registration fee and make the cost, you know, meet the cost for that kid to play.
Right.
And then we had, you know, this money from the $500 sponsorships, you know, so we did the scoreboards. Chris did the scoreboards. Right. All of those were replaced.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that money came from. And there has been some other, you know, things.
Yeah. When Chris was on his way out, I mean, he was talking a lot about, and not on his way out, but like getting ready to step down. He kept mentioning legacy things that he had, not just for him, but just legacy in general. And, you know, for him, it was, you know, scoreboards, like you said, the lights. You know, there's probably a couple other things, but those were the two main things, and that he was really proud of.
Yeah.
And are there a couple of things you want to work toward that would be, you know, good legacy things for you? Or is it just, because you've done a lot, if you ask me. Like, we're doing, like, anybody who's ever gone to a camp and you enjoyed it was her idea. You know, she set me on that path. You know, the coaches' clinics. Okay, we used to do them. Why aren't we doing them anymore? We need to have them because we're having not so many issues with coaches, but like, let's nip it in the bud. That was her. So when you go to one of these clinics or your kids go to camp, that was her idea. So I think that's going to be, I think your attention to the kids and the experience they're having there has been a really good legacy part for you. But is there something else you want to try and get done before your time's up, however long that's going to be? You know, that you can be like, hey, like, I did that, and you be proud of it, you know?
I just want it to be better than when I took it on. And I want...
Okay. That's a good legacy to have. I mean, that's a good thing to shoot for. It doesn't have to be a permanent structure. It doesn't have to be the batting cages over by the senior field, right? It can be, I want to give you something better. So when I leave here, everybody goes, she took care of it. She made it better. She's made it easier for me to take over.
Yeah, and I think that's good. And I feel like, you know, and again, I don't think that how some of these things that were done for all these years before, I don't think they were done out of malintent or anything like that. It's literally a time thing.
Well, you also, though, I think we have more now than they've ever had. Like where we can actually start some of these things.
And I think it's just kind of finding the right person to do the right thing.
Right.
And, you know, like, hey, I think you'd be good at this. Go do it. And kind of, like you said, just like planting the seed and watching it grow kind of a thing. I don't know. I feel like the world of baseball, I feel like youth sports, I feel like even our area in general is changing so much.
I agree with that.
The ORWALL has been there for so long. I would like to see it continue and to be somewhere where people want to bring their kid.
Right.
I feel like it's a hallmark of our community, and I think, you know, I just want people, the kids especially, to have a place. And
right. So I think that's perfect then. You know, it's like that's not a bad legacy to have. You know, because there's a lot of people, like, you come in and you go, damn, this is a dumpster fire. Yeah. You know, they really handed, you know, this off. I feel like, you know, Chris handed you, he handed you something that was building, and he
100%.
left a couple of things, and now you've already set the table with accountability for the kids and helping them have a good time and a good place to come, and moving that forward. So when like you eventually do hand it off, I think you really put us in a good position, right? So, I think that's it for you. It's like I try not to talk in the meetings now, but I mean I get it, right? So she moves me around or she tells me to shut up. It is what it is. I have another one here. What are things, this is a good question, I think. What are things that people think you can change, but you can't change? Do they think you can just snap your fingers and like make that better? Like you can't pick individual coaches.
No.
It is what it is. Like we vote on that and we all talk and give our opinions and everything else. And
I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand the draft. And they're like, well,
100%.
My neighbor, friend, coach promised he'd draft my kid and he wasn't able to. Can you just like swap them? And I can't.
Yeah.
Like Little League, at certain age levels, again, it goes back to there's very specific rules in Little League, the rule book, and some of them are, you have to read them 10 times, and I'm still like, I don't know what I just read.
Right. That's very true.
But I've had emails when I'm like, I can't do that. Like if we got found out we did that, it would impact our charter, and and then I have replies. I don't really think that it would impact your charter. How would anyone ever know? So some of it's an integrity thing, Yes. And I'm like, and I'm not going to be the one to like get Little League or ORWALL's charter removed. Like,
there's a lot of things people don't understand with that. And to give an example of something that happened was one of the all-star teams scheduled a scrimmage with a select team just to get the kids some work, not knowing, not allowed to do that at all. And somebody called Little League, to let them know kind of what was going on. But it's like, things that you think you can do, you can't do. And they'll pull it quick. Yeah. And then next thing you know, it's we're Dixie, or would it?
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, we're, a Little League and Little League provides our insurance and all of these things. I mean, it's a real thing with real consequence. So
right. So when the people at the softball league are complaining that they can't take batting practice in our cages, you're not on our insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, know that, right? It's something that there's a lot of little things that I don't think people understand sometimes. So
there's certain days we close and people are like, why do we close? I mean, we have a lease with the county. The county mandates that we're closed on Ironman. We used to have to close on recycling day. The commissioner we have in our precinct now has moved recycling day.
Okay.
So things like that. I mean,
How's the relationship with the commissioner's office?
Oh, it's great.
Is it?
Yeah.
The new commissioner start, right? In January?
He came on right after the hurricane, or I guess January 2025, yeah.
Okay.
Because you think it was like commissioner-elect.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's been a good relationship. Okay, that's good. Because we kind of share an area with them. I don't know if people know that or not. The building you pass when you come into ORWALL, that's commissioner's building. Okay. I got more questions.
Okay.
And you're going to answer them. I'm kidding. Well, what about your peers? Tomball, Montgomery. How is your relationship with them? Do you guys swap ideas at all?
Yeah. So we're District 28. So that includes us, Conroe, Montgomery, Northwest 45, and Tomball.
Okay.
And so we meet. We met, for the upcoming spring season. So fall is not an official Little League season. So as far as, the district, we don't really meet during that time. But we met a few weeks ago and we were kind of talking about, what we do for fundraising. So Tomball actually borrowed our idea for how we do the fundraising, the $50 that we give for those raffle tickets. And so we talk about that kind of, there was conversation on like, when do y'all start your season versus when I did not realize that previously Tomball didn't start their regular season until after spring break. How they
really?
did that, how they did that and got it done on time, I was like, how? Yeah, because I was like, we are starting February 21st, and I wanted to start a week earlier, but it was Valentine's weekend, and I was advised that was not a good idea.
No, that...
they're starting.
I don't understand how that works unless they're playing almost every night.
I mean, I don't know. So, we have those conversations. Again, the conversation came up about how much you charge for a season, and I kind of shared the same thing that we've already talked about with them, because I think some of these other leagues that are like city based, right? Like we're county based. We're getting some more funding, and now everything in the economy is just weird. It's a weird time,
right? And
so I think they're trying to figure out how to kind of supplement some of that and things like that.
Yeah, because you're right. They're all in
cities,
except for Northwest 45, right?
I think they're city. I think they're somehow with this. Oh, maybe Harris County. I was going to say the city of Houston, but yeah. So,
okay.
But I think Harris County does something different with their park than like we're 100%. I mean, we don't have to pay a lease, but I mean we are 100% self-operating.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
When you go to Montgomery, that's a public field, and when you go to Tomball, that's a public field.
Same.
Yeah.
Tomball is
Conroe has tournaments at that.
Is like technically that's considered a city park.
Right.
Like we're not. I mean, Howard Hughes actually owns the fields.
Right.
They lease them to Montgomery County, and Montgomery County leases them to us for like $1.
Right.
But all the expenses and all of that, I mean,
we still have to pay for everything.
Right.
Yeah. It's not a municipal. Forget it.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, the city's not paying for everything and keeping up with upkeep and all that other stuff. We have a grounds crew that's there every day. We have a facilities guy that is voted on, vice president of facilities, Matt, who takes care of most of that stuff is himself.
And I mean
or hiring somebody.
I get a text. Oh, the stall door is on the floor in the women's restroom. I'm like, okay, well, how do we fix that? Right, that's not my area.
Right.
Like.
I'll be honest with you, just putting this out there, we redid the bathrooms.
Yes, Chris did the bathroom.
And it didn't seem like it lasted very long. Just because of, I get it, kids and stuff like that, and, even some parents but it's just like, we have to take care of what we have because we're the ones, if you don't want your fees to go up and things like that, it's like, all right, well, let's take care of it. Take care of what you own. It's, you tell your kids, don't break it. I'm not just going to go replace it, right? So it costs money to, put that stall door back up or take the mirrors or the shards of the mirror down that are left or, try to get a urinal working that's not working anymore or, the water main, like you said.
The water main, yep.
And we've had some issues with some other stuff out there that is, it's just one of those things where it's like, we're paying for it. So let's all just kind of do our best to take care of it. So.
And it's to a point, it's not we're paying for it. It's the player.
Well,
the player.
100%.
I mean, that's where the majority of our funds come from. So.
Right. We've had some donations and stuff that have been cool. We had it's kind of a capital campaign in and of itself. It just happened before was the batting cages.
Yep.
Somebody donated and it's going to be a memorial or it is a memorial.
We put the sign up. So it was a family and they wanted a memorial.
And and
they funded it.
Yeah. And it adds a lot to the park, if you ask me. Especially with it is taken away like kind of the danger out on the practice fields of getting hit by a baseball, right? Because you had live hitting going on these 4 fields that kind of melded together, and you got some kid looking over here at his coach. Next thing you know, he gets hit in the back of the head with a baseball. So I think those cages have been awesome, and they've just added a lot to the park, and it looks cool. Yeah, just saying. So, okay. So hardest question, put you on the spot.
Okay.
How much longer do you think you're going to be president?
I don't know.
Forever?
Not forever. So that's another thing. You talk about our peers. ORWALL is very interesting in that our presidents turn over. I think Brooke was the last president that did it for more than 2 years. Okay. Or like Tomball. I don't know.
Been the same
She's
two
the
people
same
forever,
for
right?
like a long time.
Yeah.
Conroe, forever.
Yeah.
Montgomery, they had a president before for like 10 years.
Okay.
She's still on the board, but she's not. I mean, so she's still there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have a little bit of that, Joe, Daniel.
Well,
but I don't know. It seems like none of these other leagues like turn over like we do.
Yeah.
And I will say it was like a year learning curve.
Right.
And it's kind of just uphill fall. And then you go springs a little bit more, and then you get to all stars, and you're like, I don't know if I can do this another year. All stars are. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I mean, like I said, my son, if he's still out there playing, maybe.
I think you're doing a great job. That's why I brought it up, right? You want it to keep going well. You want to keep doing good things. You want to have somebody who's there who doesn't mind, being tough when they need to be and being understanding when they need to be. So.
And I do think some continuity helps.
100%. Yeah.
So I don't know if I have an exact answer for you.
Yeah. As long as you're needed.
And as long as I can balance,
your life and everything.
My life, and I can stay married and not get divorced. Just no, my husband, right? He's pretty supportive. I mean, he really is. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, hey, let's go do this project at ORWALL. He doesn't, but he does. He does.
Right. I've done that myself. I was like, well, I got to go do equipment return tonight. She's like, well, how long are you going to be gone?
Yeah.
I was like, well,
so I think All Stars was probably the biggest. So I don't know. So whenever we host, either myself or Joe has to be there.
Have to be there. Okay.
Preferably me, because technically I'm the site director, but I can pass it off to him for a day if I need to or whatever.
Right.
So it's every day. I have to be there every day.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So in turn, I don't get scheduled board duties during the season.
Right.
But I mean, and it's not. I mean, the team starts showing up at 5. They start playing at 6. So you have to do coin toss. So I mean, I was leaving my house every day at 4:00.
Right.
And we hosted the biggest tournament. It was like a 27-game tournament.
Okay.
So it was 2.5 weeks of my husband picking the kids up, doing the dinner, doing every day. He was like, oh, is this over yet? You know?
Exactly. You do need that support though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, I hope she stays on for a while because she's good at it. And, the thing is you're talking about Joe and Daniel. I feel like whoever gets, if we ever sell this place, if Howard Hughes ever sells it to somebody, it's like they'll come with it. You know what I mean? They've been out there so long. I think Daniel's been out there over 20 years.
Yeah.
Joe's been out there ever since I've been out there, just as a coach and just a dad. So, I can imagine, but the thing is, Tori said it best when he was walking out the door. You have these two people.
Yeah.
Use them, utilize them, ask them questions.
And I think that's another, you kind of ask what people don't understand you can't change. Well, some of this stuff, and people come with great ideas. And sometimes I think they're great ideas. Yeah. And then, we talk to one of them and we did that and this is what happened. And again, I don't necessarily always believe things need to be done just because they've always been done that way, right? That's how things grow stale.
Right.
But there's some knowledge and listening hey, well, this is why this won't work. And Joe's very big on, I'm not going to tell you no, but, he's and he's very great. He's like, if this is what you want to do, I will support you, even if behind closed doors, because we have conversations and it's but people don't need to know what we disagree on and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I respect that about him, and I do think he's a great kind of counter to me in a lot of ways, because I'm not ever going to be the loudest person in the room, and there are some conversations that we've had to have with coaches, and they do kind of turn, and I'm like, okay, I'm glad you're in my corner to kind of handle that, because some people just lose their mind over crazy things, and not that I couldn't handle it, but sometimes it's just better to have a big loud person in the room.
Very much so. That's the one thing I do respect about him. Anytime you have ever brought anything to everybody, you two are on the same page. It's never Because I've been in organizations before, or you're sitting there having a conversation with somebody, and you have these two people who are supposed to be of the same mind, and you're getting all the positive and then a negative chirp every, he never does that. Never does that. He's always right there. He'll answer a question if you ask him. He'll be completely honest with you.
100%.
But he'll always be, he's like the best backup, I think,
oh, no,
for
100%.
you.
Like, I don't know if I could be doing this, honestly, without somebody. I mean, without having someone like that.
That's good. That's good. It's good that you feel that way too, right? Because it could very easily be like, well, I don't want to, there's a lot of people sometimes that get into a position where they have all of, not saying all the power or anything, but you don't have to listen to them.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's good that you're willing and open to it, and he's willing and open to it. And then when you guys come to everybody else, when we're in a board meeting, we have one, you two are one mind.
Yes,
you know
100%.
What I mean? So, and I respect that about both of you. I think that, you've made a lot of good decisions. You brought up a lot of good things. We're starting to do a lot of really good stuff. I think the capital campaign is going to be awesome, especially if we get traction with it and we start seeing a lot of these things change. It's like you said, we have a lot of people out there that want to help, and they have things within their company. It's like, hey, what are we going to invest in our community, right?
Yes.
And it's like, well, hey, almost, we have 1,000 kids out of the Woodlands playing baseball. Somebody's, there's got to be some kind of community outreach or something there where if you want to invest in something where it's fun and safe for kids, ORWALL's the place to do it.
And I think that's kind of, the goal of this. We're not asking families themselves. This is, we need corporate, $660,000. That's
corporate money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, maybe we have parents that work for these companies that want to help us do that, or someone who, is big in fundraising. Like, we would totally welcome that, but we're trying to go out and really, get big donations.
Right.
More than just your $500 team sponsorship, and which all those are great, and we love that too.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a different mindset for some really big projects.
Right. And it's a perfect opportunity for, the community to kind of give back to the baseball field. Okay, well, that's all the questions I have for Morgan today. I do have a question from someone who's been listening, and I'm very excited about this because it's the first question. Morgan can help me with it if she wants to. If not, I understand. But we had a listener send me an email. I don't know if she wants me to give her name out, so I'll withdraw this time. But next time, if you send me a question, you want me to give your name, just let me know, because I don't want to give your name if you don't want to. But anyway, this person asked, at what age should the player start focusing on a certain position? And I feel that was a really good question, because we have a lot of kids that come in 6, 7, 8 years old. They'll show a proficiency somewhere, and that's where they get stuck. That may not be where they wind up. My son started as a second baseman. He is a right fielder now. And he moved to that position around 12 to 13 years old. And I think that's the perfect age when you can start to fine-tune on a position. When you're younger than that, you need to be playing everywhere. You need to find your love for where you want to be. And even if you just, I want to stay in right, no, we need to move you over, because you never know what you're going to love. Unless you're a catcher. You'll know your catcher when you find him. He's always dirty. He loves to jump in front of things, and he loves to throw the ball really hard. Like we have, Hudson Jacobs. Mm-hmm. He has been a catcher for a while, and you could tell that kid's a catcher. Catchers are just born. It's just the way they are. They manifest. Right?
Yeah, no, that's true. I do.
I think that for every kid, they're not going to be pitching until kid pitch 9. So playing the position up front and getting used to that's where probably your best player needs to play, because their reaction time is going to be better. You need to move people around and understand what they're good at, what they're not good at. Don't pigeonhole a kid. When they are at that point where their body starts to change a little bit, things become quicker. You're not going to stick a kid who has a really slow reaction time at third base. He's going to get hurt, right? So that's when you need to start moving kids around. Okay, you need to go to left field. Your reaction time's not as good, but you're fast. You can cover a lot of ground. You can catch or track the ball. You need to pay attention to those things. But, if your son finds a love for something early, urge them to do something different just so they're sure. And then when they're about 12 or 13, that's when you start to really hone in on a position, especially for left-handed kids. So left-handed kids are going to get shoved into being first baseman and outfielders. There's no left-handed third baseman. There's no left-handed shortstop. You just don't see those things. They can do it, but you don't see it. So while they're young, they need to do as much as they can before they get pigeonholed somewhere. And it's just because the way that the field is laid out, tenths of a second matter. Older age groups, not at Little League. Like, I'll play a left-handed shortstop. I don't care. I'm going to have fun, right?
Yeah, no, and I think that's back to the point. This is Little League, and this is for fun. I mean, a good, I'd say 80% of our league are 11 years and below.
Yes.
I mean, they haven't even started developing, really, right? Like, this is just to introduce them, to have fun, to make memories. Yeah. That is what Little League is really about.
There you go. Couldn't have said it any better. Everybody have a great one. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll be back after the break, and thank you, Morgan, for being here.
Thanks, Jay.
All right. See you guys later.